Nice to meet
How was your flight?
It was magnificent. In magnificent, it's always nice to come to Italy. The food is amazing.
Yeah, lovely city.
Especially northern Italy, it's so lovely, just the mountains and the almost like the Alps and Spain combined, so warm and lovely.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Would you like something to drink?
Yeah, thank you.
I wouldn't mind a milk coat.
Yeah. Have you had some time to explore already?
Yes, we came yesterday. So.
Yeah, we flew into
Tour.
Milan, went around the city a bit, and then drove here today morning. So
Especially this weather.
yeah,
It is.
yeah, the drive was so lovely too.
Yeah, it was
Countryside.
Wow. That's good. If you saw the bush, we also saw one of our factories, which is good.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Shall we proceed?
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Daphne Vostenbos. I'll be the chief buyer, and this is my colleague, Anik Tautelas, who is our chief engineer.
Nice to meet you.
To structure this conversation, we first, the best way to come up with that time, we came up with an agenda which we sent to you. Do you have anything you would like to add or send some suggestions on the agenda, or is it good as it is?
Well, first of all, it's so nice to be here, and I'm Pessi, the installation and service manager, Pessi Salakari.
Yeah, my name is Johanna Hautamäki and I'm the production manager.
Dr. Kimpi, nice to meet you. I'm the head of European sales of Nosta Oy, so nice to meet you.
And I'm Edith Koskela. I'm the chief engineer from Nosta. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys as well.
Regarding the agenda, I think it's good for us so far. I think actually we have something what we would like to say first before we go further, sort of beginning words or opening speech, if it's okay for
sure.
you. So we are very pleased to be here, and thank you for having us here today. And well, you heard about our team already, and we are very pleased to have this opportunity to start discussion with you. And this is, of course, a valuable opportunity for us to present what we can offer as well, to talk about potential partnership. And we are very, very happy to be here and present how our aim is to combine this, our world-class engineering as well, our enduring cranes built for demanding conditions. And as a production manager, of course, I'm very proud of our products, but our goal is not just to supply products, but also to find a solution that will suit your long-term goals and vision. So that's why we are here, and that's our aim for this discussion. So thank you for having us here, and looking forward.
Thank you for the short introduction. Also, thank you again for coming to meet us here in Geneva. We at Build Shipping are thoroughly impressed by your company and especially your all-purpose crane. Like you mentioned, given our rapid growth and increasing global presence, we're also looking for a partner to support us with a cutting-edge solution that also helps in the long-term reliability as well as the excellent service, of course. So today, our goal is to want to explore the possibilities of building a mutual beneficial relationship that exceeds beyond just the sale of the product, because we're looking for someone that can scale and grow with us as we continue growing. We're excited to learn more about what capabilities you guys have to offer, and also we would like to share more in detail of what we are looking for.
Perfect. Sounds amazing. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so our objective for this meeting is that we are interested in your cranes, like my colleague said, because of the excellent quality and our need for a high uptime, which seems very reasonable with your cranes. And for now, we would be interested in buying around 10 cranes, but because of, like she mentioned, our quickly growing company, we expect a need for more cranes as the time goes on. So what we are looking for is not just a one-time sale, but potentially a long-term partnership.
That sounds great.
Is that also your objective for this meeting, or do you have other views on that?
I think we have a very common goals here. So we are also here to talk about long-term partnership and finding a solution that suits your needs, not just selling our cranes, which are of course magnificent, but to find mutual benefits.
Yeah, and such a agile and fast-growing firm like yours, it seems a great opportunity for us also.
Yes.
For a partnership.
Yeah, that's good to hear. We would like to start with the boring part, of course, which is pricing and payment terms. I noticed that you have a base price of 2.95 million. I was wondering, do you have any kind of flexibility in the offer based on a long-time service agreement?
Yeah, I think to your surprise, we are very flexible. If you're talking about 2.95 million, of course, we are looking for 300,000 per crane. So to your delight, it's much lower than you expected.
Yeah.
So we can, of course, begin with that. We were kind of discussing between us that we would like to maybe get you more familiar with the whole package we are offering. But if you want to begin with the pricing, we can, of course, do that. It's all up to you.
Oh, please go ahead. Whatever way you prefer.
Yeah.
Maybe
Should we talk about which one should we begin with? Any ideas?
Yeah, maybe sort of an overall question first. You were talking about that you are looking for a partner who can grow with you, right? As well as to have a high uptime for your vessels to be at sea, not in dock. And what else? What kind of features do you appreciate if we talk about the partnership? What are the sort of the main feature? What you are looking for on top of these?
So we are looking for potentially a delivery. I don't know what exactly you mean in what essence, but we are looking for a delivery potentially at the location where we are. And we also have some, not concerns, but we have some questions about the warranty. In what extent do you offer service contracts? We have multiple, like we also did in the agenda, we have multiple points of your service and what you offer in which we are interested.
Yeah, but mainly also with the crane itself, we are looking for something that is reliable, something small and efficient, which is one of the key aspects why we are looking to your crane. So if that's the question you're asking, we're mainly looking for reliability and being on time is very important for us, especially as we continue to grow. We prefer things, the quicker the better. Time is money, in essence.
Yeah. Well, of course, we are very happy to hear that you are looking for a partner who's able to grow with you and have a long-term, long-term solution. You are now talking about for the need of 10 cranes, but do you have what kind of plans do you have for the future? Because of course that's one thing that is affecting our offer as well. Looking at the future, what kind of possibilities there will lie?
Like we mentioned, currently you're looking for 10, but that also depends on how well they interact with the rest of our systems right now.
Yes.
So in the future, right now we are growing at about 50% every year.
Wow.
So which is a very impressive rate, and we're very happy with that. So again, we're looking to see how well the partnership works out in the beginning. We'll seek to increase this as we go on.
Okay. So,
Yeah, you wish to begin with the pricing. We can of course move to that now, but
Please.
it's hard to maybe give a broad perspective of our delightful products from one point of view. So I guess we can start with the pricing, of course. So as you're familiar with, 295,000 per crane. I wish and hope you were satisfied with that, since you invited us to lovely Italy and we are now here. But with that, we are of course ready to have a range of pricing that we can go down to, but that we'd rather dip from some other aspects before going down on the price.
Yeah, sure. Maybe could you also we're also looking at what kind of payment structures have you worked Have you used before with similar type of project?
We've been using the 30-day standard as our normal way to approach this. Of course, we are ready to give 1% discount if you are ready to pay even more quick. And in Italy, it's standard to 60 to 100, but I guess we will remain with our normal procedure of 30 days. So
we're also wondering about, because we're looking for example, payment status. We wanted to look into the 40, 50, 10% rule, where we pay 40% upfront, 50% upon delivery, and 10% post-mounting. Would this be something that you would also be interested in?
Yeah, of course. I think we will need to hear from our whole panel of opinions first, so we need to discuss probably that on the break more, but I can say right away that we are, of course, interested, since we don't want to block the future potential of our partnership with the price. So.
Yeah, I can understand. Also, by this, we're wondering if it's possible to tie the final payment of 10% to the performance of the installation and benchmark this. So,
yeah,
would it be possible?
That sounds potential, of course.
Yeah, and also you mentioned 30 net payment. Personally, we normally work with 60%, as it works better with our cash flow. So I don't know if that would also be something you would be interested in.
Well, 60 days is a long time compared to it's double the normal amount. So of course, from my personal point of view, we need to ensure the cash flow of Nosta, of course. But
would it be beneficial if we increase the price in order to have more net days? Because the banking system is a bit slow in Italy, and we prefer paying a little bit more to still keep the 60 days net.
There is, of course, a possibility, but again, I will repeat myself. This is something I think we need to discuss on the break. Yeah. I need to hear from all of the firms' representatives, basically. So
yeah, but that all sounds very, very plausible and good in practice.
Yeah, but let's see the whole picture before we
maybe the price
nail
is something,
down anything.
Yeah, that can be discussed later. Let's move on to the delivery. We had some questions about that. First of all, what's your typical delivery time after signing a contract? You would be interested in.
Yeah, for European locations, it's 3 months. And of course, the delivery time is dependable on many different aspects. Like, for example, will you be ordering all the cranes at once? Do you need them all at once at one point of location and so?
And how would that affect the delivery time?
Of course, if it's not one location, then we need to see where the locations are. Yeah. And of course, one question is that our normal delivery term is X work, so meaning that if we place the cranes in our location and you will pick them up and handle the delivery. And this is because many of our customers have either possibility to pick them up by themselves, or they have a logistic partner, so it's been very popular that way.
Okay.
What's your preference on that?
We would be interested in also the delivered at place, so the DAP, but we do target to have the cranes at the beginning of Q3, which is in July. So we were wondering, is that possible for you to also achieve those 3 months if you would do it DAP?
So you said end of July?
The beginning of Q3, which is which begins in July.
So just to clarify, how many cranes by that time?
For now, we are talking about the 10 cranes.
Okay. Yeah.
We do understand, as we are moving from X Works and asking for delivery at place, that this would also mean more responsibility for you, which would mean that we would have to pay slightly more, which we are prepared to do that.
Yeah, because the pricing what we have been presenting you so far, that's X Works, so there will be the logistics and insurance cost on top of that, which is usually around 10% of the whole delivery.
Okay.
But regarding the beginning of July. We are now in almost mid April, and to have negotiations and agreements signed, I think it might be a bit tight for getting all done before the 3 months started. So that's one thing what I think we need to check that. Are we able to do all the agreements before the 3 months starts? Otherwise, we see that the 3 months time shouldn't be any problem. But one question: the DAB, will it be in Genoa?
Yes.
Yes.
And so, if I understand you correctly, you say that 3 months delivery time is also achievable when going for the DAP.
Yes, like I said, when we've been delivering to European location, the 3 months being the time limit, we are able to gain. Another thing is that will the cranes be mounted at the same time, all the 10? So because what we are looking for is more not so pushing the time limits and so on, but and not to keep them standing in your warehouses. So maybe the production could be that way, especially if we don't have time for do the agreements and everything in next 2 weeks. So then it might be good to have a little bit like phased delivery.
Yeah, and if I may just clarify a bit on the installation and mounting process, it's usually 1 to 2 days, so quite efficient and fast. But if we're looking to mount, let's say, over 2 or 3 cranes at a time, at the same time, there is some opportunity cost for us, since our teams have other places to be and other cranes to work. So it's more cost efficient for you and for us to do it by stages, like 2 cranes at a time, 2 days.
Okay.
So it would take like 5 business days a week to install all the cranes as cost efficiently as possible. But of course, there's the possibility to do them all at once, and there will be some additional costs, and we can go over them later if we.
Okay. Yeah. I do have one question. Do your crews manage the mounting of the installation entirely, or do you also need the coordination from our side?
Yeah, we manage it. It's our installation is full package.
Okay.
Preferably, of course, we would want like all 10 to be mounted at the same time, but again, there is room for discussion here, but we'll also be going through that later in the break to see what phase, if any, would work for us as well.
Okay.
I also had some questions about the warranty. I preferably would like a 2-year service package, including maintenance and priority support. I'm not sure in how well you would work to help us with this. And a 2-year service package usually includes preventive maintenance, emergency repairs, spare parts, remote support, training, and documentations. So is this something that you'll be willing to offer, or something that you offer with other clients?
So the basic or the standard contract is the 1-year warranty for moving parts and labor, typically serviced annually. But we have the extension for yearly maintenance service contract, and you were interested about that. That would be around 6,000 euros per crane per year. So it would be 6,000, times 2 if you are looking for a 2 years contract.
Is there any discount for this, as we have 10 crates and 2 years, or is 60K a fixed price?
We have to talk about it on a break, if that's all right for you.
Oh, of course, I can imagine.
Yeah, just to clarify, are you looking for training of the crane operators to be included in this package?
Preferably, yes.
Okay.
But I would also like to hear the prices with them included, without them
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll get into those. And our usual packages have these excluded from the.
Yes.
But we can of course work something out. It's in both of our best interests.
Yeah, and I was also wondering, what does peace of mind look for both sides after handover from your experience?
Could you clarify a bit?
With that, I mean, do you typically handle like service response times and separate parts availability immediately, or how does that usually work? Like after we have signed the contract, what guarantees do you usually offer in that regard?
For the parts, it's the yearly, just 1 year warranty, but we can also make something up to extend the warranty.
And that's included in the 60K that you mentioned earlier?
No, not exactly, but we can talk about that.
Okay. And also, would you be interested in us maybe including a safety clause for late delivery of about 1% per week with a maximum of 5%?
Well, first of all, we have a good track record on delivering time in European locations. So we can give you reference clients if you want.
We have had good things. That's also
yes,
why we agreed to
you
this
can hear
meeting.
how we are able to deliver what we've been agreed. But since you are, for example, asking the DAB, we have of course good logistic partners, but since they are third party, there's always some out of our reach things as well, weather and so on. So what we usually suggest at this point is some kind of buffer time. So could that be something that we could agree? So
would you clarify on that?
So if there is, for example, 10 working days late delivery, that would not bring the penalty right away, but after that you might be able to think something.
Yeah, this is definitely something that we would also like to discuss, because like I mentioned, time is for us very important as well. So we could maybe see if we can try to include the predictive risks, like of course natural disasters and stuff like that. I'll exclude them from the clause, but again we can discuss this amongst ourselves more in the break.
Yeah. While you are discussing that on a break, I would like to also suggest something in return regarding the late delivery clause. Is that what if we can deliver it in earlier than agreed? Could we have it both ways, so we can deliver it early, so we get some kind of benefit out of it, and if we agree on the delivery,
that's something we can discuss. But could you clarify on what you mean? Early is in 2 hours, as in 10 days, or?
No, of course it needs to be. If we talk about the buffer, it should be both. I think it's reasonable to be both ways. But if we can deliver it quicker than have the buffer 10 days and quicker than that, then we could have also some kind of benefit of that.
Yeah, definitely, that's something we could talk about as well.
Yes. Okay, so like we mentioned, we would also be interested in the training of the operators. What do you offer in that regard? Do you offer also virtual sessions? What is most effective in your opinion? Can you clarify that?
Yeah, certainly. So we have a wide range of possibilities here, and we have world-class trainers, Finnish engineers, and our options are basically training on-site in Finland. Mm-hmm. So this would take 1 to 2 weeks approximately. It includes full access to our advanced training simulators and factory tours and such. This is the premium option. Okay. And it will be a bit more costly than the others, than, let's say, remote training, which includes like VR-based and online modules, and this is done at your own pace. So it can be completed faster than 2 weeks, or at your own pace, basically. Mm-hmm. We also have on-site training, so trainers travel to Genoa at an additional cost. This is still slightly cheaper than the Finnish premium option. And then we have the train the trainer approach, which we recommend for only a small amount of your employees, as it is expensive per trainer.
Okay.
I have, of course, more broad price breakdowns, but what are your feelings on this? How many people are you training, and are there going to be, some people who you want to train further?
We were wondering what is a good amount of employees to train per crane? What is your advice on that, and how would you describe the optimum?
Well, that's a hard one because it really depends on where the crane's used, whether it's in port, whether it's on ship, whether it's loading,
Okay.
trucks to the port, or containers from port to ship. So it's a hard one. I think we would need more clarification on what the cranes are used for in most cases, or do they vary a lot?
It does vary a bit because, as I mentioned, we keep growing, so we mainly use them for on the port mainly for loading and offloading.
Yeah.
But we anticipate that we're also going to need more of them on the ship as we go on. So that's also one of the gray areas in that regard.
Yeah. Because we heard that you had an estimate of 25 to 40 employees that you are looking for.
Okay.
So I was just wondering if you had any had gotten that narrowed down, or is it still that?
Yeah. So I think maybe we can discuss the exact number more in the break.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's fine. We can also go by estimates if that's. And
yeah.
then,
So roughly maybe
30,
35.
Yeah, 30, 35. Yeah, that also works for the numbers. But yeah, so I was just wondering if you're looking to, because we have an option, of course, to mix and match this one. So we can send a couple manager level people to Finland, to get the full experience, get all the knowledge, soak up the knowledge, and or use the train the trainer approach, which we send some of our best to Genoa and train some of the higher employees, and then the rest would acquire, let's say, remote VR training.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe a mixed approach is what you are saying, that's most efficient.
Yeah, I would recommend that for you, as it's cost efficient, and it's also the quality is very nice with it, because you get some people who are very, very experienced, and everyone still knows what they're doing.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, so maybe this is a good time for a break in which we can discuss the different points we just discussed.
Yep.
I was thinking, should we wrap up a little bit about each point? There's been a lot of discussions, so we understand each other. So if I start with the delivery, so we've been talking about 3 months delivery for all the 10 cranes at the same time to Genoa, and your preferable delivery term would be DAB. And we were talking about also the late delivery penalties, as well as maybe if we can be a quicker one, then it would be the other way around as well.
Yeah.
So that was for the delivery. Was there something else we should be taking into account?
I think we had discussion on the payment, especially. You were preferring the 10-40-50 approach?
Yes, the 10-50 approach. Also the net, you mentioned a net of 30 days, and we prefer 60 days.
Yeah, all right.
And that could be reflecting the price.
Yeah, the price itself also.
Yeah. And then about the
Yeah,
warranty and
regarding
service.
the service contracts, you would be looking for a service contract for 2 years, and that would be around 120,000 euros.
Yeah.
And it would include remote support with remote control and telemetry, and also if you need bigger repairs or something else, then you will have personnel to the next port and the parts. And you would be looking for also the parts for longer time, around 2 years, was it?
Yes.
Yes. And one more question: do you need to get personnel to the sea? Do you want to do the repairs there, or is it okay just for the next port?
I think that's also something we can
Yeah.
discuss in the
Okay.
break. But that's
Yes.
I think that's
We have a possibility. I don't have any amounts yet, but
okay.
we can discuss that.
Okay, that's good
Yes.
to know. Thank you.
Yeah, and since you're looking for the kind of full package here with the training and all, there's of course possibility to flex pricing and all that in to gain the long-term benefits for both of us. But regarding the training of operators in particular, I think it would be wise to look in further on what you really need from these operators. How many? I don't know if you have the data right now. If not, it can be for another day. But I can also send you a document with the prices per trainee for all these different methods. Is that would help?
Yeah, we will look if we have the data in the break too. I think
Okay,
that's
great.
good. Okay.
Is there anything you need us to verify from our side as well? Or?
No, I think we're all clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so too.
So,
Thanks.
See you in a moment.
yes.
Best wel snel doorheen. Nee, we zijn wel terug. We moeten nog. We hebben nog hoeveel punten? Eén maar.
I think. Yeah, I was. I think the biggest part is we have been discussing a lot now,
Yeah.
and they are able to offer everything.
Yeah.
But the main point of negotiation is, of course, the price of that.
Yeah.
And that's something we've been pushing to the.
Yeah, but we did give them the price that you initially asked for, which was 2.95 million. They offered
No,
to
it's
give
not.
us
It's
per.
yeah.
per
But I think they are really thinking in the sense of per crane.
Mhm.
So I think we should
Yeah, okay.
Do that too.
350k
now 259
to 59.
295. Sorry.
Get 295.
It's difficult in another language.
Okay,
Um,
times 10.
Yes, and then
That's way above what we initially thought.
what? No, it's 295.
Oh, maar hun
En-
zeiden dat wij 3k moeten
Nee.
spreken, toch?
Yeah, 3.
Per stuk. Ik
Wat?
had opgeschreven, volgens mij zijn 310
No.
per stuk.
No, it's 295 is the base price.
Yeah, but they offered us to do 300k per crate. That's what they offered in the beginning. Without adding the 60, if you add 60k on top of that for the 3 year per crate, per maintenance, per year.
6k. You need to do, because you are the one who's gonna negotiate the price.
Yeah.
Right? 6k
Yeah.
is
Per
the-
crate, per
per
year.
crate per year.
So that's
6, but
120.
you keep saying 66. Because if you say 60 to them, they're gonna think it's 60. We're offering.
Didn't they say 60?
What?
Zijn ze niet geen zuster?
No. It's 60 a year if you take 10.
Okay.
But we are looking per crane.
Yeah.
So 6 a year,
Mhm.
but they are saying that DAP,
Mhm.
that's costing more.
Which is understandable, yeah.
Yes, but
But would we rather, we think we'd rather pay more for DP than pay less and
how
have a
much
difference?
more? That's of course.
Because how much more we had initially prepared for 50k
Okay.
to 80k.
And also you are planning to do it. We are planning to do a discount on the
Mhm.
cranes themselves. but what is a smart way to start that conversation? Are we starting with, hey, we would like to offer you $250.95?
Maybe we first ask them like what the price they need, because we want to combine everything together now, and what price they have from there, and then we'll see if it's within our budget or if we would like to increase more or not. But again, we also don't want to alienate them too much, because we still want a long-term contract with them, so we cannot be squeezing them to the bare minimum. We need to still, for them to still see us as a high client for the future.
And delivered at place, is that per crane or is that in total?
Per crane, yeah.
Okay.
Because they said they also said like, yeah, because I believe they said, I'll double check with them.
Yeah,
They
but
said
maybe it's because they are. Oh, and what you were saying with the late delivery. What is the benefit for us if we have them early? Do we want that? Why would we offer them more money for something that's not necessary?
No, because it's worse for, because we want it when we get it. We don't want it earlier.
Yeah, because we also have to make a planning. Maybe we would also want to pay less if they offer 10 days before, and we have to stop the thing and we need to make adaptations. That's bad for us.
True.
We would want money then.
But that's also why we needed to agree with us, because we would like it when we want it, just in time, but not earlier, because that will also cost us money.
True.
But
and
then is it
10 days? Is that not a very big buffer? Because it's 10 working days, which is 14 days. So I'm not sure how.
No, but we don't have to agree to the buffer. That's
So I'm saying, I don't think we should. Like the buffer, I get that they are relying on third parties, which makes them
more vulnerable,
resilient to offering just a penalty cost. But maybe we could say like, okay, we understand that you are doing that, but we would be willing to offer a 5-day buffer, but we would want it.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, but 5 days. And then before and after. So if you deliver it 5 days earlier, we want.
It's good to keep in mind that your ships have to be there.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to coordinate.
Yeah.
The ships have to be there.
So
if the ships are not there,
they just do it 5 days before doesn't make any sense.
Or maybe.
Or
maybe just like we want an estimation. We can offer them that if they can let us know maybe 15 work days in advance if there is going to be a change made, which gives us the opportunity to make some shifts and make sure that the ships that are needed to be there are there. But every day, like when that buffer has passed and then they come later or earlier, then it's just every day they pay.
Yeah.
I think we should, because
so we do not give them any positive incentive for coming earlier, because that's also not what we want. So it has to be on time.
But what we are willing to offer them is you can change the date, like maybe 1 month. We have 1 month, which they can change the date. So we give them, and then.
And also by change within a certain type of within 5 days, not change completely. Because you're not gonna shift it completely. We still need, even though 30 days is not that much for like a shipping company.
Yeah, for example, we would say like, okay, you can estimate like, but maybe we are now going too much in depth on this point, but you can estimate like we're gonna deliver in week 50, and then 1 month in advance they have to say which day of week 50.
So no, I think it's fine to, if it's an important point, it's fine
to go.
Okay. So maybe we can like, you can give us the week number, and then 30 days in advance you can give us which day, and starting from then we do need a penalty clause, because for us it's very expensive and very risicovol, like it's a big risk to take.
Yeah, any delay, even if it's a couple of hours, it's already too much.
And then I think the training for operators, I think this is all something that because how many employees? I think we should go for 35, and then maybe 5 in Finland, 10 in trainer for training, then for trainer, and then 20 remote, like the remote ones,
Okay. Why the specific distribution?
because he advised to do like a few managers in Finland so that they are experts, and then a few higher up ones, they can be trained also quite fast, and then the remote ones, they are just able to support.
And also, you wanted to clarify on whether we want them. We're going to be using the crates mainly on ship, like onloading and offloading, or in the ship, or like. And right now, I think we are mainly a mixture of both. We are mainly focusing now on offloading and onloading, but we also been expanding to also do on ship. So I don't know how we want to market that to them, or something we can maybe talk about in the future more. Maybe focus on the first.
Yeah, maybe say like for the first 10 cranes, we are planning to use it, like for the offloading and unloading.
The porch, yeah.
And then for the future,
we want to have
we can see that later. Yeah.
Okay.
And but because for the pricing of the things, they are also still. For the pricing of the things of the training, maybe we can. Yeah, should we make an offer for that, or?
So far, we have been offering way more than they want. So let them offer something, and then we'll see or not whether it agrees with us or not. We can always buffer down to offer too much.
You can take another break if you have time.
Yeah, true. We can also, and then on-site training in Italy. Okay.
No, but one thing I want to clarify though, I think I'm not entirely sure, but we can double check. I think they said 310 per crate, and then they wanted to add the 6K per crane per year for service fee, and they want to add a 10% for DAP. So that would. So right now we are looking at a price of about. Let me check.
Hoeveel zei je?
310 ton. 310 ton zijn ze volgens mij eerst. En dan dat komt 10% bij voor DAP.
10%. Okay, so that is 341. Yeah.
And then plus that
6 which
times
is
2 times 10.
353. Yeah.
So that would include. So that means our current price, at least what.
Yeah, 3,530,000.
Yeah.
Then.
That's
okay.
That's quite a high price.
And that's not even including the DAP yet.
No, that's included because that's the 10% on the. They said 10% more.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do need to.
Yeah, we can start again.
Okay. The price is quite high.
They are not looking.
That's the thing. If needed, we can take another break later.
Yes.
So, but I think we want to have. It was a good break, but.
Can they have 5 minutes?
That's a bit too long. Maybe I take another break soon because we have almost used 10 minutes already.
That's that.
You can take one or 2 minutes, but try to be quick.
Okay, the price. What are we doing on the price? The walk?
You can then think about like, okay, what kinds of price levels are you okay with?
Yeah,
because 3 million is a bit much. Way more.
Yeah, but I think because we are asking for a lot of features, so I don't think our thing is to like. I don't think we should approach it in the sense of okay, we would like to lower the base price, but I think we can say like okay, we would like to pay you the base price combined with the DAP training and everything, and then instead of maybe like 3.5 in total, but I think we should break it down more. But like instead of 3.53 in total, we are looking for maybe a 8% discount on that. So we would still like to take all the thing, or like not even discount. We would like to buy that, but in return, we would like free training, for example.
Okay.
All right.
Of misschien geen training, maar misschien bijvoorbeeld de DAP.
Ja.
Of de DAP voor de prijs van de CFR.
Ja.
Dat is een goeie.
So we discussed the pricing terms, the 60 days and the 40, 50, 10. Just a clarification on the 10%. You wanted to tie it to the installations. Could we get some clarification on that?
On the installations, I believe you mentioned that it will be your team that will mainly be doing this in Geneva at the ports. So would like, of course, this to be included in the price. What?
He's talking about the 40, 50, 10, and then 10% is post-mounting.
Yes. That's correct. So, for our insurance, how we usually do it is we do 40% at initial signing, 50% upon delivery, and then the 10% is mounting. And this depends on, like, of course, if everything goes according to how we agreed, we get the full percentage. But if things go wrong, then it's more like a safety clause in here.
So.
But one thing, I think what we haven't been talking is the mounting price.
Yeah.
And so that's.
Well, it was our understanding that it was already included in the price.
No, that's just for the cranes.
Okay, so maybe you could explain a bit more about the.
Good to get this going. We have a standard installation cost of 3,500 euros per crane.
Okay.
If we would do it in Genoa on site. And of course, if we do this in phases, so let's say 2 cranes at a time. Just to get back to the time, it was 1 to 2 business days per crane. So we would be able to do this in 1 business week, and that would get us some leeway on the price, something along the lines of 5 to 2% cut down on the installation costs. If we can do this, in sections of 2 cranes, 2 cranes, 2 cranes.
Okay, at 2 cranes every. What's the time in between?
It's 1 to 2 days per crane, and then
just immediately after you do the next.
So we could have 2 teams in Genoa for approximately a week to get all of that done.
So if I'm counting correctly, if it's 2 days approximately per crate and we need 10 crates, that's about 20 days at the latest.
No, it's 2 at a time.
10 days.
Yeah, 2 cranes at a time, and then 1 to 2 business days per crane.
Okay.
That's a lot of time because we have whole ships waiting, we cannot have them waiting for that long. So time is our biggest concern here.
Yeah, I understand, but if we do it with this approach, we would get the installation costs down to about 3,300. But we can of course make an arrangement where we do this in, let's say, 3 business days with some additional costs. Let's say somewhere along the lines of 1,000 per crane.
So for the offer you say that you can make 1 to 2 days per mounting of 2 cranes. Then you are asking 3,500, if I understand.
Yeah, it's 3,500 per crane. It's the usual installation.
And if you would do it quicker, you would.
Yeah, there would be additional cost. We would have to calculate them, but it would be somewhere along the lines of like 1,000 per crane.
So then, the total would be 45.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we can of course do it quicker. But there will be some opportunity costs there.
Yeah,
because we have to tie more teams in one location.
Which we also understand, but again, like I mentioned, for us, time, especially because we're dealing with, we cannot fully move a ship, have it wait for that long.
Yeah, we understand, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's very, very possible, of course, to do it faster. It's not an issue for us. And just to get back to the pricing point, I mentioned the 60 days and the 40, 50, 10. We would be okay with that in the case that we would get a mutually beneficial long-term relationship going. We had imagined a 5-year contract that Edith had mentioned, the full service contract for 5 years. And this would allow maximum uptime for your cranes and ensure the quality and longevity of them.
Okay. Well, that's definitely something we can consider, but
5 years.
we would we would be interested in then adding like a few service level agreements within that contract.
Yeah.
So we are sure that the quality is matching our goals and our company.
And also
Yeah,
as we
certainly.
continue to grow, of course, it's going to be more complex to meet our needs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like to ensure that this is also
Of
covered
course,
within
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good to know. Regarding the warranty, with the late delivery, we have discussed and we've come to the conclusion that for us, because we are working with ships, it's not beneficial for us if it's earlier or later, because the ship needs to be there. So also an early delivery is a risk for us and will cost us money. So we discussed a bit and we came to a proposal which I will explain. So we will make an agreement on a delivery, for example, in week 30. And then upon 30 days before the week starts, you can give us the day within the week that you are able to deliver us, which gives you like a few day buffer before the 30 days start. But when the 30 days go in and you are earlier or later, there will be a penalty clause because it will cost us money if we have to make sure our ships will be there earlier or later. How do you see that?
So just to be sure that we understood right, so 30 days earlier, we will give you a date on a certain week when the delivery would be.
Yeah, this is if there is a change within the date that we had initially agreed on.
No. We agree on a week.
Yeah.
You understood correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a one week's delivery time. Yes, and one thing now we are talking about delivery. So the delivery is when the cranes are at the port.
Yes.
With your good.
And then
Because
installation
yeah.
on top of that.
Because how much time is usually between the delivery and the installation?
The installation, as I said, it's 1 to 2 business days per crane, and we can do multiple cranes at a time, of course.
But I mean, what is the, like, is there a time between the delivery and when you start the mounting process?
No, we can have the teams there on standby as we know the delivery date, and we can start instantly.
So I think then
we wrap it all.
Yeah,
together.
because we will keep in mind that the ships will need to be there for 1 to 2 days each. So we will, but that's our business, of course. We will adjust the planning to make sure that the ships will be there in time.
Yeah, that sounds very good.
Yeah, and if the time is of essence and you want to have everything at once done at once, so then there is not that big of a time span either. I was thinking.
Could I just quickly ask one clarifying question? You mentioned that you want the ships to be there for the installation. Is the installation taking process on the ships or in the ports?
Right now we mainly focusing not on the ship, like offloading and unloading, but as we expand, we anticipate that in the future we'll also need them on the ship, but currently we're talking on the port with them.
Okay,
Yeah, I was regarding your proposal about the 30 days earlier, because I don't think the delivery time from Helsinki to Geneva is that long, and I'm thinking there might be some issues not known in 30 days. I was thinking, is that something that we could talk about, like for having 21 days or 14 days, so we can secure especially with the shipping, that it's gonna be.
Yeah, we understand that that's like a tricky thing also for you, a risk. We do make the planning of our ships like a month in advance, but maybe for this instance we can change that to 21 days, if that's okay for you.
That's better
Okay.
Yeah.
at this point, but let's see, maybe we can lock this all a little
Yeah,
bit later when
that's-
we know,
yeah,
know
okay.
everything.
I just wanted to clarify, I think you already agreed on this, but for the 3-year service package, you mentioned 6K per crane per year, right?
Yes. So 5 years would be 300,000.
And the price of the crane itself,
No.
what is your base price on that?
It's the 295,000 the list price we were giving you.
Yes.
And in the break, we had the negotiation amongst us, and as the company wishes, we want to enforce the longevity, like Tessie said earlier, and the future collaboration and cooperation of our company. So in our wishes, we would focus on the agreement on the 5-year service agreement, and then we wouldn't touch the price of the cranes at all.
we would be able to make this express delivery without additional costs with this long-term contract that would
Okay.
Of course,
benefit
the
both of us.
delivery price will be, so
Yeah.
but we will make sure the timing will stand as promised.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for the delivery term of DAB, then there will be 10% delivery cost, and that's done with our logistic partner, which is third party. So the cost is something that we can't actually.
Yeah, but that is the standard. So
Yes, it is.
There
Yes.
will be no extra fee for this express delivery.
Yeah, and also like Bessie was saying earlier, we won't touch the price even we go with the 60 days as you suggested. So that's how we see it.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, you were saying that the price of the shipping, which is like the DAP price, it's from a third party?
Yes.
Okay. And what is, so it's 10% of the base price of the...
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any?
I think that was mainly we need to just see this price.
Yeah, so that's it for the price.
Yeah, and then maybe also the training.
Yeah, I was just about to get that. Did you get any
Yes,
info on that?
we discussed and we looked in the data. It said that there were 35 employees that we would be interested to train.
Okay.
From which, based on your advice, we would be willing to have 5 employees do the training in Finland.
Yeah.
10 of the trainer, or I'm not sure what the name was.
Yeah, train the trainer.
Yeah. And then 20 employees remote training.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have an estimation of how much that would cost, or?
Yeah, I can get one to you in a little bit here. Could you repeat them once again? So Finland
5.
5. Yeah, 5. Finland, then
10 trainer,
yeah.
and then 20 remote.
All right, I can get to you in a bit.
Yes. Okay.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else we missed.
Is for you everything discussed now, other
Yeah,
than the
the
final?
pricing stand, from your perspective, I wish to get some more clarification on that. So is the listed price fine for you? What's the situation?
Yeah, we do understand that the 10% delivery fee, that's out of your power. But we would be interested in negotiating the price, at least for the service and the long-term contract that you were talking about, especially because we are agreeing then to a partnership if we would do that. Do you think it would be suitable if we have a certain discount of the service that you are offering?
Yeah, we're happy to hear your proposals. Absolutely.
Okay. So because this is also new information to us, of course, the long-term partnership, maybe that's something.
Yeah, we can discuss in a bit in the next break in a few minutes, and then we can come up with an answer for you. But I was wondering if you could provide more clarity on the remote trainings. How many sessions can we expect? Because I also want to know with time with the workload, how we will time this with our employees. How many sessions do you usually do for the remote training?
So our remote training consists of this online module, which has tasks and VR sessions, and at the end you get the certification. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the exact number of sessions and modules we have, but I can get back to you on that.
But we just wanted to make sure that it does not interfere with the employees' other tasks. Of course, we wanted them to be as certified as possible, but the job needs to be done. So we don't want to take too much load from our supply chain manager in terms of like employee.
Yeah. Of course, it's still a very in-depth training, and they will gain a lot of knowledge, and it will require time, but it's not near as extensive as some of the other training methods. So it can be done in a week, like a few hours a day or 1 hour a day.
And it gives flexibility because you can do it at your own time.
Yeah.
So one thing to add that I forgot. So we have also the possibility if the 300,000 euros is too much for you, considering the contract. We have also a possibility to offer the service for free for the first year if you agree on the 5-year contract. So that's also one possibility that we thought about.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot it.
No worries.
It's okay.
Do you need any more clarification from us? Because we'll go through the details, of course, to discuss amongst ourselves to come up with a proposal on your side. Do you need any more information to aid you with your decision making from our side?
Or maybe you already had some ideas for the long-term partnership. What would it include, in your opinion? Maybe that's something. I don't know if you already have a vision on that or not yet.
Well, the quality is the factor Nosta is famous for, so I believe the service will be to your liking, of course. So we wouldn't necessarily need to re-establish new cranes very fast or quickly in the future, but I think the extension of the service agreement is the most profitable for both parties here.
And I mean more, what does it and how does it mean? What would you like to have in the agreement? Would it mean that we could only buy cranes from you? Would it like what kind of parts? But I'm not sure if you already thought about that.
Actually, it depends on the whole big picture, but I believe we can give you a better clarification on that as well.
But maybe that's also something we can discuss maybe or in the break or in a later meeting because this seems like a very big project for this meeting. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm also willing to hear what's your view on the long term. For us, of course, it's important that we can provide you uptime, as you said, for 5 next years, and while we do cooperation, we learn from each other, and we can, of course, put that learning into our engineering again and provide products that are good for you and.
Yeah, we'll discuss the 5-year contract in the break, but we are wondering because as we say we are a rapidly growing company, and if we are to be locked in a relationship for 5 years, we do want to see some potential growth. Like I said, we have a growing rate of about 50% per year. So that means how far is your capacity in meeting this demand if we keep increasing at this rate or even a bigger rate in the future? How well is also we might need cranes that have different load capabilities than we do now. So how is your research and development in that regard, and how?
Well, the current machinery, to my understanding, is 12 tons, I believe. So the one we are offering currently is double that at least.
Yeah.
So I hope and wish that we'll meet your requirements in the future, of course, even after your even larger grasp of the field, I would say.
But we are a sustainable growing company as well, and we want to grow with you as well. So we are looking forward to how do I say, increase our capacity if needed. But of course, we are happy to hear more about your future, not just, I mean, more in-depth information, so we can be sure we can meet your needs in the future as well. But we are here for long term and for your service. So
okay. Yeah, maybe this is then a good time for maybe a bit of a shorter break in which we can discuss amongst ourselves what we want. Okay,
Sounds good.
Looks nice.
Thank you.
I'll get you on the calculation.
Yes, perfect.
All right. Just so you know, we have 24 minutes and a half left, so short break.
Okay.
Well,
what is the total price? Or what is the total price right now?
so the total price now, but they offered a discount in which we get 1 service year free. So that's
if we do the 5-year contract, but
yeah,
is it in
but
our
that's-
benefit to do it?
so
But
that's
kind of what we're looking for.
358, so 358,000 euros. But the thing is, I think negotiating a 5-year contract in a meeting in which you originally was only going to buy 10 cranes might be, might be a bit of an overkill. Maybe we can suggest, because we are interested in a long-term partnership, like we said in the beginning, but that's not something you can do without discussing it with other people in the company.
Yeah, so I would say, because let's say we initially came in trying to do a 2 to 3, like short-term 2 to 3 years contract, which we're already doing a 2-year kind of contract with them with a service required. So maybe we can link it to performance.
Yeah.
Like if our performance metrics, everything is going well after the first 2 years, then they are guaranteed a contract.
I think, because even that is a big statement to make from just 2 people in a negotiation.
Okay, you are allowed to say that that we need to talk about this later, and then you can focus on the concrete things that you can name now.
Yeah.
So remember, as long as you're going towards agreement, it's fine to leave something saying, here's why we can't do this. Don't just say, let's talk about it different, but you can say, here's why and here's what we're thinking, but we will. So you're allowed to do that.
Yeah,
So
maybe
maybe it's part of the 5-year contract. For
but maybe it's smart to say, like, we are very interested in a 5-year contract, but I think that that's something, because it's such a big project, which we can discuss in a meeting in the future. Maybe we don't even have to say a date. Like, that's another meeting. But for now, we will be interested in buying the 10 cranes from you with the 2-year service contract, and then maybe we can ask them for, okay, we don't need the full first year off in the discount of the service, but maybe half, so that we still have.
But do you feel like we are not pushing too much with the pricing? If we still want a long-term relationship with these people?
But I think we are, because we say we are very interested. Yeah, maybe we don't even have to close this deal now.
No, we can just ask for a quote and say we'll need to think about it.
Yeah, more in the sense of.
I think keep in mind that in the simulation you had all day, so don't feel like you are rushing everything. But try to clarify the things that are on the table, because we only have so little time left.
But so clarify, like, more, because I feel like at the end we are now establishing, like, okay, this is the price for the 5-year deal. But I don't think it's realistic for us to close a 5-year deal now.
No, but we don't have to.
So, but clarify the things that are still. There were a couple of things you've asked for that haven't been clarified.
Yeah.
So try to get those concrete.
Okay.
And then you can say, here we are now, and this is what we're looking for, and we are interested.
Okay.
And then we can start the.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is to help you sort of think about like what can you still do during this exercise,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
you can still sort of drive like saying that this talk should continue. We might finish with a deal today, but not before
Yeah.
lunch.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So maybe we can clarify all the costs
Without the 5-year contract.
with. So we can clarify all the cost of what it would cost to buy these 10 cranes from them, and then we have the cost. Okay, we get a 6,000 euro a crane discount if we go in with the 5-year contract.
Yeah.
We don't if we don't go into the 5-year contract. We see what the cost is for the training,
Yeah.
and then we say, okay, so this is the overview now. We can discuss the rest after lunch.
Yeah, I think that's about what we have time for. So
Yeah.
clarifying that, and if something is still unclear, find out or specify, make sure that you both see the same thing.
Okay.
And I think that's where we have to end then.
Okay.
So that's a good plan. That way you don't try to do too much.
Yeah, yeah.
They seem ready?
No.
Okay, we can let them have a.
Okay. Oh, I think the door's locked.
Oh, I thought I fixed it.
I hope you had a productive break.
Yeah, likewise.
So what do you want to go over?
Yeah, okay, so I think it would be good, maybe you said you had still some numbers for the training, and that we create an overview of what the costs would be if we would go into a 5-year deal, and if we would not go into a 5-year deal, and then maybe after go and have lunch.
Yeah,
So
sounds good.
that's okay.
Yeah, amazing. So you said 5 employees trained in Finland, which is 1,700 per trainee, includes all the lodging and food and all that. So that would be for the 5 about 8,000. Then we have 10 trained trainers in Genoa. These are, of course, our high-end managers and engineers. So the costs are a bit more. It's about 3,000 per trainee, so that would be 25,000. And then 20 remote trainees overall, that's 15,000. So at the end, it would be 48,000 for this package. We can, of course, look into other options.
I'm not sure if I heard you correctly. So the 5 who would go to Finland, how much would the price for that be?
1,700, right?
8,375. Overall 8,375. So that would be 1,675 per employee.
Okay. And then so and the 3,000 for the 10 employees, that was per person or?
Yeah, for train the trainer, it's 3,000 per trainee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of course we have to send more experienced personnel that can actually also train people to be these managers and to train other people. Yeah. But we can also send you other recommendations and packages that could work, and you can look over them at another time. Yeah.
Okay. And do you also offer like trainings to keep the level?
To maintain the level.
To maintain the level of knowledge.
Of course, if we get to an agreement on this long-term partnership, we would love to provide stuff like workshops and provide trainers to keep everyone up to date with our software and program updates and stuff like that.
Is this maintenance cost also included in this price, or will this be another cost on top of this?
No, that would be something that we give to our long-term partners as complimentary.
Okay.
Also, how often do you after every year, 2 years, or how often?
We at least yearly, but it depends on to know what's going on with our cranes. If there's new models or updates to the software, then we will of course provide,
Okay. Well, I think we have quite a good view of the price. Is it okay if I break it down that you can tell me?
Yes.
Yep.
So for the cost of the base cost, it's the 295, like we discussed. Then for the price of the mounting, if we would choose for the quick delivery, which we would like to do, you estimated €1,000 extra, which would make it €4,500 a crane.
Yeah, exactly.
Then the service cost would be 6,000 per crane a year, but with a 5-year contract, you would offer a 1-year discount. And then the delivery cost would be €29,500, which was 10% for the DAP. Okay, and then the total training that you just told us for the training of all the employees would be €68,375.
No, that's 48,375.
48. Because you told me that the training for the 10 employees, for the trainer, they were 3,000 each.
There might be a slight problem with my calculations, but the actual number, there might be actually a problem with the price per trainee, but the overall price is correct here, which is for the 10, 2,500. So that would be then 2,500 per. Yeah, that's the right one.
Okay.
And those equal then the 48,375.
Okay, that's okay, 48,000. Okay. So the total training is then 48,375 euros.
Exactly.
Okay, then I think we have a good overview.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. I also wanted to double check that credit terms here would be 60 days, right?
Yeah.
Instead of the 30 days.
Yeah.
And you also would be willing to agree with that 40%, 50%, 10% pricing model.
Yes.
Together with the 21 day term for the changing of the date.
Yeah. So
with
confirming the delivery time.
Okay.
Yeah, with a long-term, partnership contract.
Yes.
Okay.
5 years. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I think we have a good overview of everything we have discussed until now.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you and let's get lunch.
Yeah, let's get.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay, let's. That's a good point to have it. I think that as they brought up in the break, like the 5-year thing, like it's good to identify what are the concrete things that's good to press for now and clarify now. What are issues that are too big to be hasty about? Because I think that here there was a real chance that we're running out of time. Let's just say blah 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 blah, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to specify like, okay, what can we clarify, that what's concrete, and what do we need to think about more deeply. So this serves as a good example for the next 2 negotiations that are also, they have some things that are quite concrete, some things that can be more vague, and there might be these special things, some things might become interesting, and then you want to settle that issue. And it's worth going towards the issues that can be settled, clarified, sorted out, and not try to do everything and agree to everything. So again, you were good benchmarking, you were good sort of setting of like, okay, how do we deal with all these things when there's all this stuff on the table? This feels too hasty to say yes to now. That was a good hunch. Don't say yes to it now, but say like, okay, this depends on certain things, but we really like in it. You can say stuff like, okay, this is okay, but let's clarify these practical things and then figure out how does that implicate this bigger decision that we won't be doing now. So I think that you did a good process there, and that process is what we're interested in. So yeah, sorry, I wanted to just quickly break. This was partially for you guys, but also partially for the people watching, because this helps with these meta questions of like, how should we do this in this exercise? And if those meta questions become too big, it messes with the actual interaction. So I wanted to use a little speech turn here now to maybe underline your approach and how we did it here, and which I thought worked out pretty well. And that can, I hope, help other teams when they also start noticing like, whoa, there's a lot of issues going on here. What do we actually talk about and what don't we talk about? I want to try to help them feel like, you know, that we want to have something interesting and something that can be processed here on the table, and have a sense of knowing what's worth talking about here, and how do we do with things that are too big for right now. But yeah, now with that little sort of like meta commentary done, the classic question. Now you're done with, you don't have to, you don't have any long negotiations left. You are done with your things. Now you get to sort of like miltä nyt tuntuu, as the traditional Finnish sportscaster. They ask, how is it, I guess it's every country. The sportscaster comes up to the exhausted athlete and asks, how do you feel? And you're expected to give a cogent answer.
I think this was much more difficult than the first one, since the setting was much more concrete on the first one, that you're like sort of against each other, but here it was much more freestyling.
And vague,
So,
and a lot of issues.
Yeah, it was really hard to follow sometimes
Yeah.
what was said. I'm just wondering, you are 2 and we are 4, so we have to
Yeah.
we can sort of spread this.
Yeah, how did it feel?
I preferred this actually to the last one, because you had more freedom in terms of like negotiating, and you didn't have to stick to pre-arranged stuff, because here you could actually negotiate on stuff, because in the first one I felt like there were issues you couldn't really negotiate on. It was either illegal or not. So it was jail or pay. So
or like you know, inhumane.
That's also.
And here I felt like there was more room to find a middle ground for both teams.
Yeah.
Of course,
We have the same goal.
we have kind of the same goal. We want to earn something and also have a long-term partnership.
I think that also made a big difference. That in the beginning, the first few minutes, we came to the conclusion, okay, we have the same goal. How can we reach this? There was like, I think it was there's less tension in the subject itself. So in the first negotiation, there was more tension, but here it felt like, okay, you're both looking for the same answer. So
Against each other.
It's an intentional design decision. So there's the first one is more set, because so much is new that we have a set, but the tension is there of like, there's power difference, so there's different kinds of issues, but you don't get to choose them so much. But you're also so new in the situation that these kind of like handcuffs, in a way, help you find your place, and it's a much more narrow lane. And then once you've gone through that, and you feel like, okay, now we know how the playing field works, we take away the handcuffs a little bit, which makes it more complicated, because you have to be like, wait a minute, now we have to have a plan. But you don't worry so much about how does it feel to be at the table and how do we do, because you've done it once already. So this is I love to talk about the design. So that's the design of the narrow entry, and then go like that. And I think you both are right. It's more challenging and it's easier, because this is a sense of, hey, we both want to try to grow and stuff like that. So we have sort of like this business to business trying to find. But as you know, it's kind of difficult. I mean, there's still difficult, like finding out the path and deciding what is an optional kind of things, and how do we understand where the tricky bits are. For example, I really like the part where you're like, wait a minute now, they want to be rewarded to be early. What's the point of being early in this thing? You know, if our ship's not there. So small things like this, I'm thinking, hey, we need to think about what's our actual benefit here? What's happening? How does it affect our processes? And that kind of thought. And I thought you get a good example of thinking about, this is not just like, hey, this number is low, so if it's lower, it's better. It's like, no, what does it refer to? If they bring the cranes tomorrow, they're going to sit in our warehouse that we pay for 3 months. So stuff like that was interesting. But of course, mainly we're looking at how you talk. You mentioned a lot in the beginning. There was this kind of like, there's an interesting thing about how the positioning went again. It's called a positioning phase kind of in the booklet, but positioning and proposal are not so much like monolith phases of like positioning proposals. It's more like positioning a proposal go like, oftentimes if a proposal is very quick, it gets bounced back because it's kind of like, huh? And you have to be like, oh, wait a minute, now how do we put this proposal? There's like a positioning after the proposal, and then again, and then again. So it's this can be a bit weird, because when we go through it in the material, there's the positioning chunk. But in one of the videos, at least, that it's shown there, the usual positioning takes place before every proposal as a kind of like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This is, again, a little bit of a commentary based on when I'm reading reviews. It often, sometimes it seems like students modify this idea of the positioning phase that predates the proposal phase, and then all the positioning happens before, and then all the proposals happen afterwards, where it's much more messy than that. But I can see why you think that, because of how it's brought up in the course and stuff like that. But I think that you brought really interesting stuff there as well. Any more comments for the viewers? For those who have made it this far?
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, Edith, this was your first one, so
Oh no.
just a big sort of like how everyone else, this was their second one, but just sort of your as the rookie.
Very messy, I think, but it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All in
All right,
all.
let's say bye.